Over the past couple of months, my setup has gotten so messy, and I thought what better thing to do than to transform it into my dream gaming setup. So my setup right now has random cables all over it, the cable management is non-existent, and let's not even talk about the chair. Now it isn't the worst thing ever, it's still good, but it could be a lot better. Some of my gear is really outdated, like this monitor that only goes up to 1680 by 1050, which isn't even the standard size for most monitors. It's basically just a little bit better than 720p, but it is still 60Hz, so it's not the worst. But I'll definitely be needing an upgrade. My main monitor on the other hand is 1920 by 1080 and it's also 144Hz, so it's definitely still good. But the second monitor is just way too outdated to be in this setup. Now another thing is that these monitors were once on a mount, but I did end up taking them off. And today, since I'm going to be upgrading this monitor, I'm also going to reinstall the monitor mount. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is get this entire area cleaned up so that I have some room to install the monitor mount. The reason my setup's gotten so bad is because honestly I haven't used it in so long, and I also just haven't had the time to upgrade it. But I'm going to be using it a lot more, so I decided it's time to finally make some major upgrades. So now that I've completely cleared the area, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this monitor completely. Now this monitor is so old that I actually used to play PS3 on it when I was a kid. And on top of that, this monitor doesn't even have an HDMI port. I've been using a DVI converter for this monitor ever since I got my PC. So the monitor I'm going to be replacing my old one with is this one right here. And this one is the Acer VG280K. This monitor is 4K at 60Hz and it's a huge upgrade from the old one. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is just put both of these monitors right onto the mount. I started by unplugging my other monitor and getting rid of all the cables. While doing this, I noticed there was so much dust on my setup, so I gave it a quick wipe down to make it look fresh again. After that, the only thing left was getting the monitor arm set up, which was pretty easy. But while I was screwing it in from the bottom, I realized just how bad the cables under the table were looking. Now when I first built my setup, I taped every single cable onto the bottom of this desk. I didn't care whether it was going to hold up in a year or two. All I cared about was if it worked for the time being, but as you can see, it didn't hold up and the tape is coming off. Now I also had a RGB LED strip all around this desk, but the remote went missing like last year, so I decided it's finally time to rip this thing off. And yeah, the adhesive wasn't strong at all, so I taped this thing to my desk as well. Now earlier when I said I taped every single cable, I wasn't joking. Literally everything is taped, so I had to cut everything apart using this knife. And this is just a quick reminder that if you're ever building a setup or have one right now, to never use tape. Save yourself the hassle and just cable manage it properly. Now since I had to get these monitors up, I left the cables looking how they were and started screwing both the monitors in. It was pretty straightforward. I ended up just sliding the monitor on and then tightening all the other screws. So the first monitor looks really clean, and now all that's left is getting the second monitor up. And for that, I did the exact same thing and the setup was finally coming together. I got both the monitors up and it's time to get the wiring done. I have my power cables and the HDMI cables that connect to the outlet and to my PC. And there's 4 cables in total, so 2 for each monitor. And the thing I really like about this monitor arm is that it comes with covers to hide all the cables. And they fit on really snug, so there's going to be no exposed cables at all. So let's go ahead and get this whole thing wired up and put these covers on as well. Now if you're wondering, the reason I didn't finish cable managing everything before was because I still have to get both these monitors plugged in, and I want to make sure to get these cables in there as well. Putting these cable hiders on was really easy. All it took was 1 screw for each and the other side would just clip on. Now that I've finished all the wiring, it's looking a lot cleaner than before and there's so much more desk space. The only thing left to do now is fix up all the wiring. So I got some zip ties, some double-sided tape, and electrical tape, but I'm not about to tape it like I did last time. So I got under the desk and got right to work. The zip ties worked really well as I just attached them right to the frame of the desk. And then I used the electrical tape to group the wires together. The desk I have currently is sit to stand, so it has a large metal frame spanning across the entire desk. This made it really easy to just hide the wires in the little compartments. My main goal here was just to improve the cable management so it doesn't fall off again. But I'm definitely going to end up getting one of those cable management trays, which make this whole process just a lot easier. I just got done all the cable management, including the cables from the monitors, and under the table it's looking a lot better. Now it isn't the greatest, but it definitely could have been a lot better, but it works for the time being. The only 2 cables on my desk are for my keyboard and my mouse, which I'm also going to be upgrading. But before we do that, one thing I've wanted to switch out for so long has been this mic and boom arm. Now I do have a Samsung boom arm if you've seen my old videos, but while I was gaming one day, the mount completely snapped off. And I finally got the replacement part in the mail today, so we're going to be setting that back up. And on top of that, Fifine was kind enough to send me a brand new mic, so we're also going to be installing that. So I just finished screwing in the boom arm and getting the mic set up, and it all goes really well with the setup. One thing that I really like about this boom arm is that it actually has housing for the cables inside of the arm itself, which is actually really neat. Now that all this stuff's set up and the cables are finally looking clean, I'm gonna put all my peripherals back and get the PC turned on to see how everything looks. Now the mic has a ring of RGB all around the bottom of it, and I personally think that this makes the mic look a lot better and it doesn't look too tacky. Also, on the inside of my PC, I installed some blue LED fans which will help tie in the blue color scheme. So my setup is finally coming together pretty well, but there's a bunch of things that are still missing. Mainly the peripherals. I've been using these non-stop for like the past year, and I think it's time to switch these out. Now for the past 2 years almost, I've been using the Razer Viper Ultimate. Now while I would say it's a really good mouse, there's obvious signs of damage on it. Like as you can see, it's kind of peeling, and I do have a Glorious Model O laying around, so I'm probably going to switch it out for that. Now I used to use this mouse a lot, but the only reason I stopped using it is because the Razer Viper Ultimate's a lot lighter. But now since I stopped gaming so much, I don't really care if it's lighter or not, so I think I'll be fine with using this. And for the keyboard, I've been using this one for the longest time that I can remember, and it is a really good keyboard, I'm not gonna lie, I actually love it. But the only problem is that it doesn't match my setup at all. It's literally yellow and gray, so there's nothing in my setup that matches with that, and I'm not gonna lie, it's been forever since I cleaned it, so I think it's time we swap this out. And the one that I'm gonna be swapping it out with is honestly so much better. This is the keyboard I'm gonna be swapping it out with, and it's by Acco. I don't remember the name of it, but the link to it will be in the description if you guys want to get it. And honestly, this is like the most high quality keyboard I've ever received from any company. But you know, this one matches my setup a little bit more. It still has some orange on it, but I mean, it's fully blacked out and it has some gold, so it does match my setup a bit. So I've got them on the desk, but they don't look that good, and I think I know why. This mousepad isn't long enough for both the keyboard and the mouse to fit on, so let's go ahead and change that. Now I have a bunch of different mousepads, but none of them were matching the setup theme I was trying to make. This mousepad was kinda matching with the keyboard, but it didn't go well with the rest of the setup. But I finally found one which goes well with both the keyboard and the rest of my setup. Now let me know in the comments what you think about this mousepad, because I think it looks pretty good. Another very little thing that I ended up doing was removing the stickers on my PC. And overall, this makes it look a lot cleaner. Finally, the setup was coming together. The cable management was on point, the monitors looked sleek, but there was still one last thing missing. And that was my chair. This chair has been in my setup for 5 years now, and I think it's time for this thing to retire. Literally all of the leather is cracked and peeling, and this thing is horrible for my back. So I got right to work and started looking for a chair that'd be perfect for my setup. I never knew how hard it would be picking out a gaming chair until now. I came across a lot of good gaming chairs and a lot of bad ones too. But I ended up getting a really good deal on this Razer chair, and it not only looks aesthetic, but it has some pretty cool features as well. Now having this chair and using it for the past couple of days has been one of the best purchases I've ever made. After using it for the past couple of days, I've noticed my posture is so much better. Especially when I'm gaming or typing, I usually would be hunched over, but now having the lower back support and the neck support, it feels so much better on my back. And overall, it just looks a lot better as well. And the headphones that I'm using for my setup are the Hesh ANC. I've had these headphones for around a year now, and they are hands down by far the best headset that I've ever used. Now they are completely wireless, so I don't ever need to have them plugged in, which makes it so much better for cable management. And on top of that, the battery life is pretty good, and one of the best things that these headphones come with is built-in noise cancellation, and it helps out a lot, especially if I'm just working, playing games, or even editing videos. Now overall, I'm really happy with how the setup turned out. It not only looks better, but functionality wise it's great too. I think my favorite upgrade is definitely the chair. I've needed one for so long, and I think this was one of the best purchases I could have made. Now I'll definitely be upgrading a couple more things in the setup in the future, just because I think it can honestly be so much better, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Now if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be posting a lot more content soon, so stay tuned.